want to be, spontaneous. So welcome everybody. This is the 15th episode of Outside the Box with Seth, Siyon. Welcome knights, queens, kings, nobles, jesters. I have a very special guest here that I want to introduce to you. This maidservant with me today has dedicated 40 years to exploring metaphysics while showcasing a profound commitment to spiritual growth. Her intensive experience, multifaceted experience, and deep commitment to spiritual growth and service make her a valuable guide and mentor for those on the path of self-discovery and enlightenment. Her dedication to illuminating the divine within each individual and fostering collective enlightenment exemplifies a profound purpose and contribution to the spiritual community. So kings, queens, knights, nobles, jesters, I'm honored to introduce on the 15th episode of Outside the Box with Siyon, Practitioner, Shelley, Seward. Welcome.
Thank you very much. What an intro.
Yeah, so this is Outside the Box, so be yourself, have fun.
Well, can't get much better than that, what I said, so.
Everybody watching this, you can be yourself and speak your truth. You know what I'm saying? There's no judgment, there's no right or wrong, it's just speaking your truth, be yourself. Yeah, so before I get into it, can you tell the people what you do and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a spiritual intuitive medium tarot card reader. Mm-hmm. And I do QHHT, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique, past life regression hypnosis. Mm-hmm. I do a mate, which is ascended master ancient healing technique. Beyond Reiki, that's energy work, cutting cords, things of that nature. And now I'm on my fourth modality, which is clearing, to allow individuals to clear blockages that they have, negative things that have been imprinted on them. So essentially everything I do is to help people on a spiritual level and to teach them how to help themselves. That's the main thing.
Right. Okay. Before we jump into it, you said cut the cords. Explain what you mean by cut the cords.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. So a lot of people have some misconceed notions. They're like, well, I still want to talk to my mom,
Would you associate that with soul time?
Well, I don't know about that particular word, but all energy comes through our bodies, right. through our solar plexus. That's where our timeline is that's where we receive energy from places that we go to, people that we're around, even your media, watching TV, it all comes through into your body as a vibration. So what I try and do is help people that might have they're taking on energy from other people that they don't need to or they don't want to. So we do the energy work and we cut the cords during that process, and that gives them the ability not to be taking all that energy from their mother or whoever it might be on a regular basis. Now, they can still have a great relationship with them, but they don't need to feel all the feelings that all these other people are bringing onto them.
Yeah, I think that's connected with the soul tie saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I actually did an episode about that a couple episodes ago. So
cool.
That's kind of what you're saying is basically the same thing that I was saying in so many words.
Yeah. I've never heard of soul ties before, but I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, before I forget, I'm sorry y'all, I got lost track here, but I want to also welcome Keondo Megente, bienvenido. Outside the Box with Seth, Siyon. Y gracias por el apoyo. ¿Estás bien? Wepa. Alright, so we're going to start off this episode talking about meditation. And I'm gonna just give you what I got as far as like a definition of meditation, then I'll let you give your perspective on it. When I looked it up, it said to reflect on self and to contemplate. It also said to train or empty the mind, focusing on a single subject. And it also says to engage in prayer. And those were the three definitions that was given for meditation. So how would you explain meditation or define meditation?
Well, I think it'd be nice to get away from that particular, where we see the monk sitting in the yoga position, with the legs crossed and not thinking of anything. For me, I like to do guided meditations where it takes me where I need to go. And the one that I use with my clients to get preparation for the past life regression hypnosis is the Jose Silva 3-2-1 method. His daughter developed it. And basically it's a relaxation technique. You do the number 3 times in your head. They take you through your body, relax in your body. Then we do the 2, which is to visualize a hologram type of image. I always go back to when I was a Girl Scout and walking through the woods and the beautiful woods and smelling the earth.
I like that,
I can always come up with that. And then the last step is to count down from 10 to 1. And then you go into some other things during that meditation. It's about 18 minutes long, but it's really important to meditate daily. It really changes your life.
So for somebody that I feel like most people don't really know how to meditate. They don't really know what it is, besides just being to yourself or just thinking. But sometimes your thoughts can control you, and you're not really meditating. You're just being used at that moment. What would your I guess suggestion or advice be to somebody to help them learn how to meditate?
So the chatter in your mind is a programming that we receive as we're growing up. It is not you. I think that's the most important thing for you to realize, that
Correct.
chatter is not you.
Yeah.
To acknowledge it, say, hey, I hear you, I know you're there, and thank you for telling me 15 times in the last 5 minutes that I have to do the laundry or whatever it might be. But to acknowledge that and to make kind of a pivotal switch. When I meditate, I don't focus on thinking nothing. I focus on listening to the guided meditation and focusing on that. And you're gonna waver, and that's fine. But the more you do it, you're gonna feel different, and your body's gonna start. It's just a matter of doing it regularly. So I would say do guided meditations.
Okay. I ad-lib on that. So, what I would say is you correct 100% you said as far as when you started hearing these. Not I can say necessarily hearing, but getting these different thoughts or whatever. They're not from you. That's from a source. And like you said, acknowledging it, knowing, let them know, I already know this is not me, so you can go ahead and go on with that bullshit, whatever. But so also with meditation, you said something that was key too, focusing on something that makes you feel good. Even if it's something from your past or if it's something that you want to do, that was key, because you don't want to never just be in a state where you just allowing other things to take control, giving you anxiety, giving you fear,
Exactly.
giving you wants, all these different, diseases. But so it's always good to focus on something positive if possible. But you want to keep it focusing on yourself.
So each person is different. We're all unique, and what my goal is to help everyone to connect to their higher self. People that come to see me, whatever I do with them, they take away something with them when they leave of how to connect with their higher self. And one thing that I do that I know you do stuff like this too, but when I do my meditation, I will look at the inside of my eyes.
How'd you know that? That's crazy.
Because I'm a psychic.
That's true, y'all. For real. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I definitely do that. Yeah.
So when you start looking at the inside of your eyes, you pivot, you switch, and it's just a matter of practicing and not being hard on yourself.
Right.
So.
And that's the one key thing. You might have to force yourself at first.
It's
not natural.
The discipline is to force yourself.
Right, you have to force yourself to do it first.
And we talked about, do it in the morning when you first wake
First
up.
wake up, that's the best time to
You're
do
in
it,
that
yeah.
twilight zone.
Or either right before you go to sleep.
Yep.
And that's when you start, that's when you just go off and dream, man.
Yeah, but that little twilight zone, if you can just hold it, I'm not all the way awake quite yet. Now I'm gonna kind of focus inward, look at the inside of my eyes, relax myself, and then see what happens. You know?
And you'll be surprised what you see. That's pretty good with meditation. Like, I think it's very important. Meditation is very important. That's like the foundation of your spiritual growth. Once you get that practice down pat, then
it's ever evolving and changing.
Yeah.
You know, definitely. And I love YouTube because I'll just scan through and find new guided ones and what works best for me. It's just like, you know, what's your favorite ice cream?
Right,
you know,
right.
You know, sometimes it's chocolate, sometimes it's vanilla, and you know, I get on these tangents and then I share them with all my friends and I like this one right now. Check it out. You know, so.
I like to use this analogy too, like, you know, we always do stuff for our physical bodies to enhance it and to, you know, evolve it, you know, if it's working out, if it's exercising, if it's, you know, doing whatever. But it's more important to take care of your spirit, your soul.
Absolutely.
And meditation is one of those things that can help your soul like evolve to where, you know, you get to the sense where you start learning yourself, you start learning your purpose, and everything just start aligning like perfectly around you.
So gratitude is, in my opinion, the highest vibration that you can use. So when I'm laying in bed, I'm, you know, law of attraction. I'll just say, you know, I love my pillow. My pillow is so soft. I'm so comfy in my bed. And just finding those little tiny, you know, we're all having bad days, you know, sometimes. Sometimes we got a bad week, months, and sometimes you just think it's raining on you. And it's just finding those little moments of, I'm eating something, it's just taking that pause, and no matter how silly, how stupid it is, feeling that gratitude lifts your vibration right up.
Right. That's 100% true. And I can tell you this, like, so when I was incarcerated for 7 years, 8 months, when I got out, like you said, little stuff like that I never thought about. I was on it. I was like, thank you for this bed. I got a mattress. I got a soft pillow. I ain't got nobody above me. I ain't got nobody beside me. I go to the refrigerator. I go to the bathroom. I was just going on everything. But you're right though, because like some people like they take it for granted, like just the little things that, you know, it can always like somebody's always worse for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So the little things like that. You got a TV. You got a cell phone. You got just be grateful for anything. And like you said, that'll just elevate you to the point where you need to be at. And you, like I say, your vibrations will raise and you will have more light, you'll have more confidence, and you'll be like, you just be walking in love and peace, you know, because that's what it attracts when you start being gratitude, you know, it attracts all that. And that is the foundation.
So with that being said, like, I mean, we'll obsess about a problem and we'll just focus on that problem, whatever it is. And by focusing that's what you're bringing into your reality, whatever you're looking at. So, you know, we all are human beings. You might need to take a few minutes to do the focus, to figure things out. But the most important thing is to redirect your focus to something positive. Walk in nature, you know, listening to uplifting music. And in doing that, you're changing your vibration, and that'll assist you with correcting whatever the problem is that you're dealing with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because life is, you know, we're going to always go through hardships in life. This life is not meant to go through perfectly and smoothly. But it's learning how to overcome your problems and doing it in a way that, you know, like you said, like, you know, we always go through our issues in life, even if it's money, even if it's friends, even if it's spouses, even if it's, you know, cars, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I can go on forever. So when situations do arise, like you said, don't focus on that situation. Just like you said, just be grateful for what you do have. And you will see like a shift, you know what I'm saying, a change, not just within yourself, but through what you're going through too as well. It'll work out. Like it's just a universal law. So that's
Yeah, so by lifting your vibration, you actually can change your timeline.
Right.
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And also know that even if these things are perceived to be negative, lots of times spirit knows where you need to go, and so they're stopping you from going a direction that you shouldn't be going, or learning a lesson, or for expansion, things of that nature. So.
And one thing I use is like, I just ask them to order my steps each day, because the things that I may want per se may not be for me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and that's why you said they'll block certain things. So when certain things happen, they be like, that's why I never plan things, for one thing. So like if I want to do something or whatever and then get blocked, I'm like, you weren't supposed to do that. I wasn't supposed to do that.
Exactly.
I don't get mad about it, like they want for me to go.
Absolutely.
So I just go with the flow. Whatever's natural, I try to keep it there and organic, but I don't try to like force nothing.
So if you have like 4 or 5 things that you're thinking of doing, I would take a moment to think of each one separately and feel your body. Are you just a smidgen more excited about one of those things? And then that's the way you go.
Right. That's right. If you have any kind of anxiety or like any kind of like they say over excitement or just any kind of like something that's not natural, then it's not right.
Absolutely.
Right. I didn't expect to spend that much time on meditation, but that was good. But we must move on, so I could really keep going with that. But I didn't realize I could talk about it.
Oh yeah, I love it.
So we're gonna go to past life regression, hypnosis, and quantum healing. Hypnosis technique. Which is QHHT.
Hey, I do it for a living. And
I know, right? It's like so many. I'm like, hold on,
it's QHHT.
That right there, yeah. Which is quantum healing, hypnosis technique. See, I got it.
Very good.
All right, so I want to start off with that, but asking you this because as I read your website, I saw that you had Dolores Cannon.
Yeah.
So was or is she was a major influence throughout your spiritual journey?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to date myself, but I started reading her books, 20, 30 years ago.
Okay.
So, do you want me to tell you a little bit about her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dolores, she started in the 1960s doing hypnosis to help people quit smoking, lose weight. That's what hypnosis was back then. And one of her clients spontaneously went into a past life. That was as a flapper. Do you know what a flapper?
No.
Oh, God!
No. Please, what is a flapper?
I want to say it's the 1920s, and they used as women, and they would dance, and they wore these little short skirts that had fringe on them, and it would.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this lady went into this life, and Dolores took her back to 5 different lives, and that was the beginning. And from then on, she became a reporter. She cultivated this technique, and she died in 2014. It was over a 45, 50-year period of time that she developed this technique. Wow. Taught people internationally, wrote 20 books. It took her 9 years to have her first book published. So yeah, spirituality, metaphysics, New Age, whatever you want to call it. When I was younger, there'd be 3 books at the bookstore. And now, there's bookstores just for spiritual, yeah.
I say this to a lot of people too, like spirituality has no time on it.
Right.
It's no time limit on where you're gonna get to this point. Don't expect it, don't look for it, just go with the flow.
And nobody does it the
nobody
same.
knows. Exactly. We all have our own purpose.
Yep.
And it's all for the same cause.
Yep.
No matter how different it may seem, it's all for the same cause. But yeah. So let me ask you this: what types of healing can one expect from a session, and are there any risks in any of it?
Oh, well, I appreciate you asking that. So when we do a session, I'm working strictly through the white light. We are working directly with your higher self, and let's touch on that word just in case people. So the definition for me of higher self is our connection to all that there is. We are a fractal, a very small piece of God. Right. And so our higher self is connected to God, whatever word you want to use.
Right.
Everybody's different.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what we're doing. So it's strictly of the white light. When we do the hypnosis and we take you on that trip, I put a white light, a pyramid shape around you as you're doing this types. I think of it as time travel.
Okay.
So there is no risk. Your higher self is going to bring through exactly what you need. I'm helping facilitate that. I'm not doing a intuitive reading or anything. I'm not taking you to the Akashic records. This is your higher self take you on this trip. And 100% of the time, your higher self is extremely kind, loving, and is going to give you exactly what you need to get the most healing from it.
All right, for people that may not know, like what you're talking about, you said you put the white light around them. What exactly are you talking about?
Okay, that is your connection to divine.
Okay. So it's not a physical light.
No, I appreciate you asking that. Yeah, so it's a pyramid. I have you visualize a pyramid that actually goes underneath you as well. And as you're going through this experience, we have asked Spirit, God, Source, whatever you feel comfortable with, to protect you during this time travel that you're going to be experiencing.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Oh no! Wait a minute. I went really on the first half. And don't you call me man.
I'm trying, y'all. It's hard though, but yeah, okay.
He's like controlling it.
I know. I'm like, okay.
So you asked about healings. So the healings that can take place are you can have amplified body healings. I've seen anywhere from COPD. People have come to me after the session and gotten a lot of relief with it. Back pain. Essentially, what's happening is you're getting things that are causing illness because of anxiety and stress. You're going to get much better. There really is no limits because your higher self is stepping in and doing that. So we have the body healing. We have the spiritual expansion, which is always a lot of fun. I've had my clients see angels, their higher self actually step and lay within them. Crystal glowing gardens, fairies, dragons, everything and anything. So you've got the body, you've got the spiritual, and then emotional. That's the key. And I'd like to tell you a little story about myself.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I usually like to share this because it's my own personal experience. So I had my regression done, and 3 or 4 weeks after my regression, my oldest son came to me. Well, let me back up. So I'm sorry.
No,
at the age of 5, I had a premonition. I went to my mother and I told her, I'm never going to see my father again. And she's like, don't be silly. We're just getting a divorce. It's going to be fine. You'll see him every other weekend. And in fact, it was true. I didn't see him again until I was like 45 and I reached out to him. So that's how my life started, was with that premonition. And I didn't realize the impact that abandonment played in my life. Especially, as an older adult and everything. It's kind of one of those deals, you don't know what you don't know. So anyways, now go back to my son. I had my regression 3 or 4 weeks afterwards. My son came to me and said, we're going to be having a get together. You'll probably see it on Facebook. But it's just going to be my wife's family, and essentially you're not invited. And he was really full of apprehension because he knew me better than I knew myself. And I said, "That's okay, it's fine, I'm not thrilled, but I get it." And he's like, "Who the hell are you? Where is my mother? Usually you would yell, scream, hang up on me, And so I like to use that as an example. I have a lot of clients that anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, they get this great sense of calmness, and the things that used to trigger them no longer trigger them.
Did you see me write that down?
No.
That's crazy. You just answered the question I was ready to ask. I'm like, wait a minute. I just wrote this down. You answered it. But I was going to ask you, have you had people that seen you that were like, like sick or like had cancer, had diseases, and that actually healed them?
I stay in touch with all my clients. I build up a relationship with them. I want to be there for them, especially even the preparation for the session. But then, I want to touch on ancestral DNA.
Let's do it.
Okay, this is a cool one.
Do it.
Okay. So that's another thing. I guess we need to back up to time, the definition of time.
Okay, so you want me to ask you to start first?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, well, I actually feel like there's no such thing as time.
Very good.
Of course, we are in a world, in a society that, lives all time, but truly there's no such thing as time. Everything is now.
Yep.
It's present. No past, it's no future, it's now.
Yep. everything
just happens to it's like a ripple effect, just happens,
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, I like your view on this.
So yeah, I'll back it up. What you said is perfect, but our perception of time in the 3D world is that it's linear.
Right.
Start at 8 o'clock, lunch at 12, dinner at 5, okay? But in fact, like you said, there is no time. And it's like when you throw a rock in a pond and it ripples out. So what I'm getting at is that when you heal yourself now, you're not only healing yourself right now, you're healing all your past lives, you're healing your ancestral DNA, you're healing your children that are in this life.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And I mean, even the people that read the Bible, it tells you you can come in cursed because of your forefathers' sins. So that's a prime example how he's saying if you can heal yourself, you can heal generations.
Absolutely.
And then like say your kids and then yourself, it's important, it's just knowing that it's now, this is the time to do it. And, the world is becoming more conscious now. The truth is starting to get out a little bit more now. People start feeling more comfortable with themselves and their spirituality and, whatever they believe in. So this is the time of extreme healing for those who receive it, those who practice it and, do their part. Yeah.
We're going through an ascension.
Yeah.
Where the Earth's vibration is actually changing. This is science. And when
they can't even figure it out. So.
Yeah, and when it changes, it impacts us because we're all vibrational beings. Even this table is made out of molecules that are moving. Right. Everything is vibration. Right. So it's key that we learn how to stay healthy and how to work with it. And that is something else that I teach my clients about vibration, how to work with their vibration. But so yeah, let's talk about the ancestral thing. I got to tell you about the mice.
I heard it. Go ahead.
So I love this. It's an experiment about mice and science. And so what they did was they took mice and put them in a cage and pumped in cherry blossom smell, and at the same time did a low voltage shock on them.
During the time that they smell it?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Thank you. And yeah, so they started realizing the mice kind of said, okay, every time I smell this cherry blossom smell, I'm going to get shocked.
Right. Yeah.
So they stopped shocking them, but every time they still continued pumping in the cherry blossom smell, they would react like we're going to get shocked. Right. So what's really cool, and this is where the ancestral DNA comes in, is they took the pups of these mice, and so, this is the new generation, pumped in the cherry blossom smell, and they reacted the same way. And the same thing, then they took it another generation where the males of that group were mated with females that had never, and once again, their pups had the reaction. So that's your people from the Holocaust, people that, that their ancestors have been very traumatized. It stays within your body. That's
funny that you said, no, I just thought about something because you said you said they used to male and had an offspring with other females that had to do with it.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, it speaks about that, and the Bible says the forefathers. It says, you see what I'm saying? It says nothing about the mother, it said the forefathers.
Cool. So
that's a parallel.
Yeah.
And also, even today, you have dogs that have the shock collars, right? And once they get to a certain spot, they get shocked.
Yeah.
After a while, you don't even need a shock collar.
Yeah.
And then their puppies won't even do it either. So it's
But it's really interesting, and that's a good example of why people might have a wonderful upbringing, just the perfect childhood, perfect parents, but they're just tortured and, there's things that deep within them that need to be healed, and that's a prime example of how those kind of things can happen.
Okay.
So yeah, when you heal yourself in this life, right here and now, it will ripple to those ancestors.
Right.
And believe me, they rally around you.
Yeah, they
they're
cheer you
like,
on.
yeah,
They want you to like,
yeah.
Yeah, I've actually had an encounter when I was in prison, whatever. I woke up one morning. Well, I thought I was woke anyway. Opened my eyes, I just seen a group of, but I knew they were my ancestors. They were like standing all around my bed, and I was looking up, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute.
I'm getting goosebumps all
So
over.
I'm like, so I wipe my eyes and look up again. I'm like, what the world? But I knew who it was. Like, So
awesome.
I definitely believe that. So let me ask you this. I know this is one question a lot of people have, like, as far as hypnosis. Are people conscious of what is going on, being what is said in their own responses?
Yeah, so let me kind of explain how we get you in hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really helpful. So I have you practice the Jose Silva method meditation for as many days as possible before our session. Because what we're going to do, it's a relaxation technique. So during the beginning of the hypnosis session, I'm going to turn that on, and if you've been a good boy and you've been practicing, you're going to relax. Okay. So that's the whole purpose.
So what's this method consist of?
The 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Now I already went over that. That was the 3 where the body relaxes. But let me you're going to practice this meditation, okay? And because the amount of work you put into doing that will be a direct result of what you get out of it, okay? So that's where we start. Then, so I turn that on. We listen to the first 8 minutes. Then I turn it off. Then I start doing visualization. I ask you to imagine a red bird, a blue car. And so between the imagination, the relaxation, we get you to the theta brainwave. And like you and I were discussing earlier, that theta brainwave is what you wake up every morning, and when you go to sleep, you're just naturally in that state. So nowadays, it's a more light, how can I explain this? When Dolores was first doing this, the veil wasn't as thin between the spiritual and the physical as it is now. So people would go through her session and have no memory, and they'd have to listen to the audio recording in order to remember it. Nowadays, it's a much lighter state, and some people might even think I'm not being hypnotized, but you are, and it's kind of like that twilight state with the dream.
I'll give you an example that I think is what you're talking about is in the Bible too. It's a part where he's on a donkey and he's going and he gets stuck in a tree. But the way he explains it, it's like I'm stuck in between heaven and earth.
Very good.
So it's like he's telling it, he's giving an example back then that his consciousness was like, he was conscious but more quite conscious. And then during that time he was in that tree, he saw an angel.
Nice.
And so I mean, everything you're saying is like, this stuff has been written, 1,000 years ago. So.
Well, I'm glad that you know the Bible so well.
Oh yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, I studied, I studied the Bible, I studied the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, I studied Jewish. Let me see, I studied a whole lot. There's some more too. I just can't come to them right now. And the thing about it is, they all connect.
I think there's a certain amount of truth in all religions.
And it's all, they all have ego.
Yep.
They all have ego. Yep. So I learned how to bring all the truth to one. So that way when I speak to people from different, sectors, I know how to,
That's
speak to them. Yeah. Because, everybody has their own way of learning. So I try to make it, that I can speak to somebody that's a Muslim versus somebody that's a Christian versus somebody that's Buddhist or Hinduism. Or Jewish,
and that's the same
more
thing.
Sides. I forgot about more sides.
And I don't know what that is.
It's a branch off of Muslim. It's a branch off. Yeah.
So, but that's one thing that I do with my clients as well. We talk a little bit. What do you feel comfortable? Like one lady wanted me to use the Holy Spirit.
Right.
So whatever wording makes them feel comfortable, I honor that, and I want to do everything I can to help them to be as comfortable as possible.
It's all about gaining. It is about like being right or wrong. That's one thing I learned. A lot of people say, you got to do it this way, you got to be this way. Like, as long as you just gaining people and helping them out, like that's what's important. So.
It's
they want to say out loud, then I say out loud. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to trip. I say what I say, but that's me. You know, I'm not going to force it on nobody else.
No, it's what they feel comfortable with. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll keep going. We got a lot more to go. Could you go over the benefits one may receive from doing a session, and how many sessions would you recommend?
So. Oh, that's an interesting question. So the benefits are, first of all, a lot of people will do it just because they want to. They're just so curious. Yeah, they're like, where am I going to go? Which is, I just love what I do because it's so exciting. I think that centeredness, that sense of calmness, each person's different.
Right.
So because it's unique, each person's going to get something different out of it. I have one client, she was she was emotionally shutting down. She had a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse in her life, and she couldn't function. She was to the point where her house, it was like hoarding. She had gained a lot of weight. She was, in a really bad place. And since her session, she's just gung-ho about life. And it makes me feel so good to be able to help someone to connect with their higher self. But now she's exercising. She's slowly, cleaning parts of her home. And it's just, I don't know what's going to happen. Every person's different.
So do people come back when they do a session?
Right. They can, but usually we move on to other modalities that I offer. Okay.
So I'm curious now. Is there steps? Like, say for instance, somebody do hypnosis, right? Is there what would be the next, leap or step?
Well, it just depends on the individual.
I got you.
When I'm doing the hypnosis session, I will, so the first hour and a half is, the induction is the relaxation, and I take you through this nice, wonderful trip. And when you land from this trip, then we focus on a sense of knowing. And I give 3 examples with that. If you were to walk into a dark room, you would sense, that there's a bed in there. If you went to an event, you can feel a group of people standing over here. And then the last one is when someone's looking at you from behind. I think we've all had that experience where we could feel them. So we focus on that sense of knowing, and then I ask them to tell me the very first thing that comes to their mind. And I'll use the example of this lady. She was having a difficult time, and when she answered me, she answered it in a question like, "This can't be real," And I said, "Well, what's the first thing that come into your mind?" And she's like, sorry, meatloaf. And I'm like, I wonder too. And I'm like, "That's perfect. What kind of plate is the meatloaf sitting on?" And it was pewter. And that's all it took. The next thing we knew, she was in the 14th century.
Wow.
So so that's the first part of the session.
And you answered my next question anyway, so you keep on. Because I was gonna ask you how long does a typical session last, and explain the process. So you've been.
So the session that we don't like to go longer than 2 hours.
Okay.
Of actually being under hypnosis. So the induction is relaxation. I take you on that trip. You land from your trip. Okay, so now what's next? Now you can have 3 types of experiences. You can have past life, you can have past experiences in your current life, and you can have spiritual experiences. So the one where it is the past experiences in your current life, one of my clients, she just thought she had the worst life on earth. She was very unhappy. And her higher self decided to show her in her current life all the things that she
did before.
That she was happy.
That's
I was surprised too.
Right.
And the interesting part with her is she saw the photos and she stepped into the photo and experienced what was happening on that day.
Was this a physical photo or just in a?
It was a physical photo in her life, life, but in her mind, she saw that photo,
Gotcha.
and she stepped into it, and just could see it from other people's perspective, and her higher self just kept on showing her it wasn't as bad as you
Right.
thought it was.
Like this is how they saw, this is how people looked at you and saw you.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And I think you kind of asked this question too in a way, but I was gonna ask you what kind of experiences can one expect during a session, which I think you kind of answered that.
Say that again?
What kind of experiences can one expect while in a session?
Oh my goodness.
So get a couple examples.
Well, let me get back to, so the session lasts, so now you've got these 3 different types of experiences. Everyone is to bring a list of questions for their higher self. On my website, I've got examples. Go ahead again.
You just hit every question I got. Yeah.
So there's a list of 41 examples. The questions you bring for your higher self will be unique to you. I've had people, ask, who is my father? Why do I procrastinate? All sorts of questions.
So you said that. So you ever had somebody that say didn't know their parents and they went there and found out who they were, or
they can ask the questions. So I keep on saying so. We always ask whatever questions you brought with you.
I got you.
All right.
I got you.
What's going to happen is we're recording the session. You're recording it on your phone, I'm recording it on mine. When you leave, you need to listen to that session, the part where you're talking, as much as you possibly can.
Before you leave?
No.
Oh, when you leave. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
For that 3 to 10 days is really important. And what happens is you'll start receiving messages that maybe didn't get answered during the session, and continued healing will keep. It's kind of like getting IV, antibiotics in an IV. It takes a little while. So by listening to that, you'll get activations, and so you can receive answers. Okay. And sometimes they do get the answers. Or sometimes their higher self will come in and say, "No, we're not going to tell you the answer." Right. But that's their higher self.
Gotcha.
So.
And just for clarification for people, like the higher self, like you said, it could be, different terminologies for it. It could be the spirit, it could be the Holy Spirit, it could be the Lord, it could be, whatever terminology is. Just I forgot what I said in Hinduism. It's called Krishna. Yeah, it was actually called Krishna conscious. So it's different terminology for it, but that's what she's meaning by the higher self. I think. Pretty much answer this too, but is there any preparation required before a session? And is there anything someone needs to avoid before a session? And could you explain the reasoning?
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect question. Yeah, so I may have this tattooed on my body. Did you meditate? Practice your meditation. Practice. That's really key. Because like I said, we're going to use that to relax you. Bring your list of questions for your higher self. We're going to spend 2 to 3 hours talking about your life. So even if you don't bring the list of questions for your higher self, I had one lady that every time she would write down the questions for her higher self, because sometimes it takes weeks to get in to see me. She kept on calling me and saying, "I already got the answers." So every time she would write down the questions, the answers would come through. So that was cool. The most important thing too is the morning of the session, no stimulants. If you're a heavy coffee drinker, only drink, a little bit so you don't get a headache. Don't have an argument with somebody, don't get, agitated.
Right. You want to keep yourself as calm and natural as possible, basically.
Yeah. I do deal with some pretty severe alcoholics, and they will come and they will be shaking, so, it's best to be as clean as you possibly,
That's special.
But it is a case-by-case situation. I talk to everybody one-on-one when we're booking the session, to talk about their individual situation.
Basically build a rapport to basically, I guess, have a solution for like what they need to do before they answer. That's what you're saying. I got you. All right. So, why would you think someone should do quantum healing hypnosis technique?
I think it's probably one of the most transformational experiences you'll have in your life. It's a great starting point for the healing process.
What about somebody somebody that's just starting their spiritual journey? Would that be?
Sometimes they're the best.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have any preconceived notions, and sometimes they go into hypnosis the easiest as possible.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we're at the closing remarks, but if you all got anything else that you want to talk on or explain a little bit more, you're welcome to do it.
Yeah, so I think maybe one of the parts that we left out is, so with the session itself, the hypnosis, after we take you on the trip, after we ask the questions of the higher self, then I'll usually do the crystalline silver river meditation. And that will take us through your chakras.
Okay.
And fairly frequently, people will ask me to help them to open up their third eye, to remove any blockages that they may have. That's when a lot of people will see angels. So that's a very interesting part of it as well.
And I don't know, some people may not know what the chakras mean.
There you go. Yeah, so why don't you tell them?
Well, basically, it's the alignment of your body. It's different levels, like to start from the lotus, like the lotus of the foot, and it goes up through it just goes straight up, and it hits. You have 7 different chakras, all the way to the crown, and you just basically want to activate each one. And I have a paper that really gets in detail about it. You can actually go online and look it up yourself, but that's basically what it is. It's just you start from the foundation and you're going all the way up to your crown. And you just want to activate each one till you get to the crown. So, but do your own research on that. I could talk about that for the whole session. Yeah. So, was there anything else that we missed?
No, I think that's about it.
Feel good about it?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Thank you very much for asking me.
Audience, do y'all feel good about this? Y'all got any questions? Any questions, anybody? No questions? No. Good. All right, so now we're going to get to the closing part. So how can someone contact you whom is acquiring quantum healing hypnosis technique?
So I have a website. It's Spiritual Shelley, Shelley. That's nice. All right. If you get to my website, all the links for all this other stuff is on my website.
So her Facebook is Spiritual Insight. The word spiritual, the word N-I-N, sight by
Sites with an S.
Oh, sorry, Sights with an S by Shelley with an E-Y, Seward, which is S-E-W-A-R-T. Facebook. Her YouTube is at QHHT with Spiritual Shelley. Again, that's Shelley with an E-Y. And her Instagram is at Spiritual Shelley. Again, Shelley with an E-Y. And all right, so if someone is, I guess, skeptical of this procedure, what would you advise them to rid it out?
Well, everyone that comes to me is really excited about doing this and wants to do it. So I don't deal with skeptics, and it's okay.
And I'm just saying, like, for somebody, like, say somebody saw this interview or whatever, and they're like, that sounds interesting, but I don't know.
Oh, I know what you can do.
Yeah.
Go to Google, pull up my website, look at my reviews, and there's tons and tons of them.
Go back, rewind it a little bit, just to do that.
Yeah, the reviews are phenomenal, and you're just going to hear people say over and over again how wonderful of an experience they had with it and how it impacted their life.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And last but not least, let people know where you're located, and is this procedure something that they have to like come to you, or is it something you can do remotely?
I do this, I have them come to my home. I live at Lake Royal near Bunn, North Carolina. I have other services that I can do remotely as well, and maybe we can touch on that at another time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna have you back if you
this
want
is
to.
awesome.
cause she does so much stuff. Like, I want to get on the tarot cards, like cycles, like it's definitely got to come back.
We're not doing a reading with you on. I mean,
No.
I mean, I'd be saying some stuff that would not be, and you'd be like, I don't want everybody to know my business.
I know, right? But I thoroughly enjoyed this. I got a lot of information. I think everybody else got a lot of information, and I hope to have you back soon.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this.
Appreciate it. I do hugs.
You can call me ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.